Good evening, everyone. I'm off my rhythm a little bit, I have to admit, pardon the pun. But I would like to welcome you to our spring concert. It's been, other than this blip, it's been a great year at Orchestra, lots of growth. The kids have been a pleasure to work with. We have 14 selections to perform for you tonight, 4 for each of our groups, plus our traditional 8th grade song and our combined orchestra song, which I promise will knock your socks off. So without further ado, please welcome the 6th grade orchestra.
Good evening. My name is Ava Lagakos.
My name is Kitten Alatevi.
On behalf of the 6th grade orchestra and all orchestra students, we welcome you to our spring concert. Over the past several months, we have been working diligently to prepare for tonight's concert, and we are very excited to be performing for you.
Our first selection tonight is Voyager, composed by Sunahid Newberg. Voyager was written as a commission piece for a middle school in the state of Florida. When the composer was asked what superpower she desired the most, she answered flight. Voyager was written with that in mind.
So fasten your imaginary seatbelts, stow your tray tables up, and sit back as we take flight.
And my name's Adriana Campbell.
Our second selection is Ludwig's Tango, composed by Richard Meyer.
Ludwig's Tango is based on Beethoven's famous Fifth Symphony. Its composer has transformed the symphony's recognizable melody into a tango, a ballroom dance that originated in Argentina. A tango is defined by its unique rhythmic structure and often dramatic mood. It is characterized by marked rhythms and abrupt pauses. This arrangement captures the spirit of tango. It is fun to play and enjoyable to listen to. We hope that you enjoy the energetic and excited of Ludwig's tango.
Good evening. My name is Jean-Luc Lemezi.
And my name is Mackenzie Solis.
Our third selection is Accents, composed by Robert S. Frost.
Accents is a light-hearted work which features an interesting melodic line that is shared throughout the sections of the orchestra.
The accents or emphasized notes that you hear add interest and keep the piece moving forward.
The melody is first featured in the upper strings, but is quickly passed around while a unique counter melody is developed in the cello and bass section.
Its simple and flowing melody makes for an enjoyable listening experience.
Please enjoy the pleasant sounds of Accents.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Craig.
And my name is Carter Cruz.
The sixth grade orchestra final selection is Viola Country, written by Richard Meyer.
Viola Country features, you guessed it, our wonderful viola section and our Western flavored piece. It gives the unsung heroes of the orchestra a chance to shine as they show up a variety of playing styles as we transport you to the frontier of the Old West.
Viola Country features distant sections, a heroic opening theme, its flashy melody, and a calming legato or flowing section. So board your horses and buggy and prepare to take a trip back in time.
We thank you for being a wonderful and supportive audience.
Please enjoy our performance of Viola Country.
Good evening, my name is Daniel.
And my name is Leah.
On behalf of the Symphony Orchestra, we welcome you to our portion of tonight's concert.
Our first selection is Blue Sky Horizon, written by Randall D. Stanridge.
Blue Sky Horizon is a joyous work which was inspired on a day that the sun was out shining on a beautiful and rosy day. Its composer was feeling truly happy and peaceful.
The catchy rhythms and pop-inspired melody combine to create a feeling of unbridled joy which resonates throughout the orchestra. Please enjoy the energy and excitement of Blue Sky Horizon.
Good evening, my name is May.
And my name is Sophia.
Our next selection is Conquistador, written by Deborah Baker Monday.
A dramatic work with a hint of romance, Conquistador depicts the life and adventures of the Spanish explorers known as the conquistadors.
Conquistador portrays its excitement through tension and motion. You will hear this in the repeated notes and passages with rising and flowing short sounded notes, known as eighth notes.
This drives the piece into a slow interlude, then picks back up and drives into a dramatic conclusion.
Please join us on this dramatic exploration through notes and rhythms.
Good evening, my name is Aria.
And good evening, my name is Vanessa.
Our next selection is Sprites, composed by Almond C. Bach. A sprite is a small or elusive supernatural being such as an elf or a pixie. This piece is evocative of just such beings.
It is playful in character, portraying images of these beings as they dance about and frolic in their own spaces, be that in the woods, water, fields, or even in our own imagination. We know that you will enjoy the light-headed sounds of sprites. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Mia.
And my name is Gavin.
Our final selection tonight is Spartacus, composed by Brian Bellingham.
Spartacus was one of the most famous gladiators to live during the era of the Roman Empire. He was widely considered to have led the Great Rebellion against the Roman Republic.
The somber and slow introduction symbolizes a gladiator's preparation for a conflict suddenly giving away. The much faster half of the piece symbolizes an all-out battle.
So we now transport back to the ancient times and channel the energy of the excitement of Spartacus to you.
Please enjoy.
So we have a little tradition here at C.J. Hooker where we have our 8th graders perform an 8th grade song. And on the stage are 29 really awesome students, outstanding musicians, academics, athletes, actors, actresses, drama, you name it, they do it, vocalists. And I'm really proud of the progress they've made over these 3 years. And I know they're going to just do so well at the high school. I certainly will miss them. And in honor of this special occasion, I will present each of them with a rose. Please hold your applause till the end, and here we go. And this is in somewhat of a random order, a little bit of a method, but. Symphony Orchestra, Daniela Gomez Redondo. Our staff now. Marissa Montero. Gianna Lambrello. Real Europe. Nishi Patel. Leah Gorman. Chamber members. Jonah Diaz. Evie Tracy. Caitlin Roman. Amy Ann Kuso. Rafa. And who would be good next? Sophia Eibold. Amanda Mendoza Tovar. Ethan Cruz. Ariana Grillo. Okay. Next are students that have participated in both symphony and chamber orchestras this year, and I really appreciate that help because many of you didn't have lunch this year because you were in both groups, and many of you had studio art, and some of you just had lunch every other day, so it really is appreciated, and you certainly brought just excellent performing to both groups, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So, Mia Rucker. Mia Gomez. Yatsiri Sanchez Anures. Yatsiri Professor. Mia McCarthy. Anna Shapiro. Sophia Opal. Sahar Harchawi. Daniel Jen. I call him Smiley. Lucy Davila. Lily Rosenthal. Zoe Singh. Now, if I forgot anyone except the last person, you get like 3 of them, okay? But I don't think I forgot anyone, did I? Oh, I did? Oh my gosh, my man, I can't believe it. You're right there. My man, Jimmy James Northrop. So sorry. Give one to your mom, okay? Please. She's a nice lady. Last but definitely not least, and I love hyphenated names, May Coppers Costantino.
My name is Mia Rucker, and I'm honored to introduce the 8th grade song. The song is called Viridescence, and it is written by Alan Lee Silva. This is a pretty good song. I like this song.
Hopefully.
Please enjoy it. Everyone worked very hard on it, and yeah, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Sahar Harchad.
And my name is Anna Shapiro. On behalf of the Chamber Orchestra, we would like to welcome you to our portion of tonight's concert.
Our opening selection is March of the Defenders, written by Jeffrey Hart. By definition, a march features a strong, regular rhythm often intended to accompany marching or processions. Marching typically featured contrasting sections and melodies.
According to the composer, we all have heroes in our lives, whether real or fictitious. Sometimes they are called upon us to defend ideals, and more often they are called on to defend other people. This march captures our sense of awe at all that our heroes do.
Please sit back, relax, and enjoy our performance of March of the Defenders.
my name is Jimena Mendoza.
Our next selection is Solaris, written by Cooper Ford.
Imagine the thrill of flying among the stars. Solaris paints this exciting musical picture through its variety of rhythmic motion and surprising harmonic textures.
Composed in a sober key, it features a captivating melody which you will instantly latch onto. There are several interesting musical ideas which are woven into all sections of the orchestra, making it an enjoyable piece to perform and listen to.
Please enjoy the gentle melody and captivating sounds of Solaris.
Good evening, my name is Lucy Dalmala.
And my name is Lily Rosenthal.
A Riverside Celebration, written by award-winning composer Brian Balmages, is an energetic piece which captures the energy and frolicsomeness of junior high students.
Its energetic rhythms and dance-like melody will surely make you want to clap your hands and tap your toes.
Its main melody is featured primarily in the violin sections with an abundance of counter melody in the viola sections.
Also, listen carefully for the tango-like sections that features the cello and bass sections.
And yes, dancing is allowed in the aisles. We know that you will enjoy the excitement and energy of a Riverside celebration.
Good evening. My name is Zoe Singh.
And my name is Evie Tracy.
Chamber Orchestra's final section and period, composed by Elliot Del Barbo. Mr. Del Barbo was an award-winning composer and professor of music. He also composed music for the Olympic Games and Lake Placid.
Furien is a driving and energetic composition, written in the Eastern European folk style. It features soaring melodic lines and biting rhythmic figures. Its introduction will capture your attention, and what follows is a tour de force of aggressive melody and rhythm which builds to an exciting conclusion. On behalf of the Chamber Orchestra, we know that you will enjoy our performance of Furien.
And I just want to add one more thing. I'm really grateful to work with everybody on the stage, and I look forward to seeing everybody next year and some graders.
So before we finish up with our combined piece, I'll make this quick. I just wanted to make a few announcements. First of all, we have many students participating in the NISMA Festival over the spring. If you are a sixth grader that participated in NISMA, please raise your vote. If you were a sixth grader that was in all county, raise your vote. If you are a student on the stage and you participated in this, please rise for a moment. If you are in all county, junior high all county, please stand as well. And some thanks. Thank you so much to our Board of Ed, Dr. Coates, Dr. Carter, Ms. Underline, Mr. Reese, our interim principal, Dr. Weber, our assistant principal. Thank you for supporting our program here at Cedar Hooker and throughout the district. We remain one of the best communities in music again for the 8 millionth time in 8th year. So that's, we deserve a round of applause for that. This hospital is helping us with the lighting. Clay Clement from Vensire Studios for the audio and video. Thank you to our chaperones who assisted us tonight. It's a lot of support that you can say, you know. Our custodial staff for having everything nice and ready for us, our office secretaries, and our music people in the district and building, Mr. Pat, Mrs. Weisberg, Mrs. Callahan, for helping us tonight. I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. We also had high school students that assisted us. I appreciate that as well. Families of our music students, thank you so much for supporting our students in music. It's a lifelong endeavor, regardless of your ability. It's just a great thing that you do for many, many years. And last but not least, to our students who are just amazing, young, wonderful musicians, thank you so much for your work all throughout this year. Thank you. And so for our final number, which I will have introduced, I just wanted to also give a little extra special shout out to Mr. Pat, who will be joining us on drums. And he's our middle school band director. And Mrs. Callahan, who is our high school orchestra director. And Mrs. Callahan worked in this building for many, many years and really helped carve the path, the upward trajectory that we're on. So I thank her so much for her. Okay, and here's our instruments.
Good evening, my name is Julia. I'm an 8th grade member of the Chamber of Orchestras. My name is Laura Long, and I'm a 7th grade member of the Symphony Orchestra.
And my name is Grace Blake. I'm a member of the 6th grade orchestra. Wheels of Fury, composed by Chris Thomas, is a pulse-pounding tale of grit and determination. The unbreakable bond that is formed amidst screeching tires and neon-lit streets.
The music invites you to buckle up for high-octane adventure like no other. It's packed with grabbing rhythms and radio-tracked operations as each section of the orchestra takes flight, playing the main melody. Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions, intensive rivalries, and turbocharged action and flows of fury. Takes on an unforgettable journey through a world while racing is a ray of light and victory is the ultimate prize. So buckle up and start your engine. It's gonna be a wild ride.